Hello, welcome to Life Harmony Talk. My name is Jesmine, also known as the Life Harmonist, and I'm so excited to bring this episode your way today. I have here with me Martine DeVoe. She's going to be sharing with us about how she's an awesome leader and fully maximizing her capacity in where she serves to lead others. I'm going to quickly read her bio, then we'll get into the conversation. So please stay tuned. Martine is a senior human resource business partner in Washington, D.C., in the United States. She is a dynamic leader, change agent, and visionary. She has over 13 years worked to implement human capital solutions that integrate diversity and inclusion for some of the world's largest corporate brands. And she has effectively worked with high-performing leaders to impact employee relations. We're going to talk about that a lot today. She has demonstrated an ability to bridge the gap between corporate leaders and associates to foster trust and brand loyalty. Martine says, people come first. We must inspire them, encourage them, and support them. In return, we will have forged long-lasting relationships that lead to collaborative teams. Martine has served on several human resource boards, mostly recently the Northern Virginia Society for Human Resource Management Board of Directors. She has also served as Community Relations Chair on that board. She's an active member of the American Association for Access, Equality, and Diversity. Join us today as she gives us incredible strategies on how she's an effective and sustainable leader. So Martine, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to speak today about this topic. I think it's so important.
So important. Tell us a bit about your day. Anything you'd like our audience to know that keeps you refreshed and looking all so put together.
Well, thank you. I'm not always this put together, but today I am. So just on my regular day, especially in the pandemic, I just try to make sure like I take time to meditate, take my deep breaths when things get difficult at work. Anytime I feel like I'm overwhelmed or there's so much going on at work, because I do work in a fast-paced environment, it's constant change. People constantly need me, so I'm pulled 100 ways. So just making sure I take that time to take those deep breaths. I meditate in the mornings before I start my day. In the afternoons, I generally try to work out maybe like 2 or 3 times a week. And I just do a walk or a casual jog, for maybe 3 to 4 miles. And so that's what I try to do to try to just keep my sanity. We are in a pandemic, so there's a lot going on. People are going through a lot right now. So just making sure that I have myself together so I can support those other people who come to me in need at work with different issues and problems that arise outside of work in their personal lives. So everyone is going through something every day. So I need to make sure that, like you say, I live a harmonious lifestyle so that I'm able to help others, right?
Absolutely. You touched on so many points. I can't just go straight into the questions. I need to emphasize some of the things you said. You did talk about breathing. I stumbled upon, I've always heard about deep breathing, but never really practiced it and implemented it until I was in labor, my first child. And labor pain is crazy. And I realized that just deep breathing helps you manage pain. And I'm like, where has this exercise been my entire life? How did I know to deep breathe as a child and through my university days? So I love that you incorporate that into your life. And you did mention being equipped to help other people, not just with their professional struggles, but also with their personal lives. So this is the kind of leaders I want to connect with. Thank you. So let's talk about, what that looks like for you every day, how you are there to support the people you lead. I know you occupy a management position where you are at. What is it like to show up every day? You have to be filled to be able to feel others. I hope I'm right. So tell me how you feel yourself up in order to be the best for the people you lead.
When I start off my day, when I walk into that building, I have a great attitude, a great spirit, a great energy. And that's important, especially when people want to come to you or need to come to you. They need to feel like you're accessible and that you're approachable. So I always make sure that I have a smile on my face. I always offer how I can help. I'm really great at building relationships with my associates at work so they know that they can come to me about any issue that they may have. So on a day-to-day, someone may come to me and say that they're homeless. Like I've had people come to me right now say they're homeless, or, because the metro doesn't run due to the pandemic, they need to change their schedules. Right now I'm taking an Uber to work and I'm paying $20, a day just to come to work, and they don't make that much money. So, it's important to them that they come to work and keep a job, but they can't pay rates like $20 each way, to come to work. That just defeats the purpose. So coming up with solutions for them to help them through their problems at work every day is what I'm tasked with, right? Because you just never know what people are going through when they come through your office. Some people make sure that they've been raped. It's just different things. So I wear many hats. So sometimes I'm counselor, sometimes I'm friend, sometimes I'm HR manager, but whatever I have to do, I make sure that they leave with an option. I truly believe in someone coming to you for help and you providing an option. It may not always be the option that they want to hear or that they like, but when they leave my office, they have some type of resolution. And that's my goal, to make sure that I can make it easier for them, just even if it's just at work for a few hours, because once they leave our building, life happens, right? So just making sure that I'm accessible to them, someone they can always trust to come to, and I think through and we talk through their problems so I can come up with solutions for them or help them with ideas. Maybe it's something outside of work, they have a babysitting issue or different things. So coming up with those resources for them outside of work is also important. So like I may partner with a social worker in the community for the young lady that I was speaking about in regards to being homeless, looking at options for her to help her.
Wow. Talk about harmonious leadership. Talk about being equipped to really be there for people. You said you're not just a HR manager, you're a friend, you're a counselor, so you are an all-encompassing leader. Thank you for the opportunity to pick your brains and extract insights from you today. I love also what you mentioned about when you cannot give solutions, give resolutions. Help them to be equipped to go out there and do what they have to do. You can help them in just a thinking process. So this is great. Now let's go into how important it is to have a diverse and inclusive work culture. That's how I stumbled upon your account. That's how we connected on LinkedIn. So it was that period of the Black Lives Matter movement. And I just saw one day on my LinkedIn timeline this beautiful Black woman who's in this very admirable position. And I quickly connected, read through your story, looked you up, and so great, so many great accomplishments from you. Tell me how important it is for us to truly, in our hearts, be diverse and inclusive in our workplaces, not just people in top leadership, everybody in the organization.
It's very important, especially in 2020, with the whole George Floyd thing that happened in the United States. That was very impactful. So I feel like we made a lot of progress where people are hearing our voices as it comes to racism and discrimination and unfair practices. So you saw a lot of organizations really step up this year and say they're going to actually take real steps to provide that diversity and inclusion. And, not just diversity and inclusion for brown and Black people, but also for women. It's important that we have our voice. And so many corporate org charts you look at, everyone, the top 5% of the executives are all, majority white males, so where is the representation for me? Where is the female for me? Where is the Black executive leadership? Where are these people at, right? So I think it's a cop out when people say they can't find great talent in African American communities, especially like the Wells Fargo CEO recently said that he couldn't find Black talent, which it is so much Black talent in the baking industry. So that's definitely just false. If you're not looking for Black talent, you won't find Black talent. If you're not looking for female leadership, you won't find it. But I think it's important for programs to implement with their diversity and inclusion departments some type of pathway programs in order to help with the diversity issue. And also, a lot of people have created diversity and inclusion departments and teams, but they're not truly empowered to do what they need to do to make actual change. So, I think years back when diversity and inclusion first came about, it was a new thing, right? And so everyone wanted to just be socially responsible and say, oh, well, we have a diversity and inclusion department. But is your diversity and inclusion department just a thing to say that you have, or are they actually taking real steps to help diversify your workforce? Which I think was the real issue. So I think now a lot of companies are taking action from what I've read, for as making those changes with diversity and inclusion. So everyone can feel like they're a part of, the workforce. And I think Starbucks in particular has very well done that. They actually reached 100% pay equality. So I was very impressed by that for as pay equality for women across the board in their organization a few years ago. So those are the companies that you want to look to, that are taking that true leadership before, the George Floyd thing even happened, or before, people complained about, they were already taking that steps, and they took maybe like 10 years to actually get all of that actually completed. So
I hear you loud on, people wanting to jump on the bandwagon effect because everybody is talking DEI. We want to be a part of it. We want to have a department, but just it's different from having the heart approach to really want to see change. So talk to how it impacts business growth. If your organization mirrors the society, the diverse society that we all belong to, you're more equipped, you're more able to grow. So how does that? Because I think if leaders understand that if you're not diverse, you're not equitable, you're hurting yourself, you're negatively impacting the possibilities within your organization. So speak to the business impact, how it impacts negatively the well-being of the people. Because there's no healthy challenge. Everybody looks like me. I'm not trying to learn new ways to interact with other people. I'm not exploring new thinking and new lifestyles and new perspectives. It's just I'm in my own zone. That can bring lethargy. That can make people too complacent and too relaxed in that state. So talk to the business impact so leaders can glean from your insight.
yeah, I definitely think it's a downside for that. It's definitely negative if you just want to hire everyone that looks like you, that sounds like you. Where is the change going to come in effect? Where are the new ideas and new ways of thinking, right? So I like personally hiring people with no experience even sometimes, because they have that clean slate, right? They don't have a thought, so they can come to the table with different ideas versus someone sometimes who's been with the company for 10 years and all they know is that company, right? So it's nice to hire people from the outside who have different world perspectives, come from different cultures and different backgrounds, right? Because they can provide different insight that maybe someone else can't. And I don't want to hire people that think like I think. I want
What's the
someone.
fun in that?
Right. I want someone to challenge me sometimes. I want someone to engage with me in conversation. And I want you to get my buy-in. If you think this is a bad idea or we should go in a different direction, I want you to challenge me on that. And I want to hear your opinion on that. So I think that's great for organizations to have people from different diverse backgrounds, because you get that. And there's no one right way to do something, right? So there's many different ways we can actually incorporate change or hear different ideas. So I'm always open to those outspoken individuals who come from different backgrounds, who have different insight. I think it's great for the organization, and you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't hire those people from those different backgrounds.
You're not harmonious. It's simple. You need to
Right.
create harmony. So I saw a report by Harvard Business Review that leaders need to understand the importance of competence over confidence. So sometimes leaders can present as very confident, which sometimes tends towards cockiness. They feel like I know it all. I very vast experience and knowledge in this area, that they can be sometimes arrogant. So the report I saw by HBR said leaders are better equipped to lead others when they are competent. So like you mentioned when you started, how you walk in with an attitude of gratitude, you have a smile on your face. I think that's the aspects of attitude, competence that leadership needs. So speak to the importance of competence in understanding different human thinking styles, in understanding the workplace, how it's more important than just being confident in your expertise, because confidence makes it you centered, competence makes it other-centered, your ability to. So speak to that.
Well, I consider that common sense leadership, so for me, I'm very practical when it comes to things that go on at work. So I think it's good to have a real world perspective of life and be open-minded to people and their problems, right? Because for me, life happens to everybody. So not just me, but you and everyone else, right? So I'm very realistic about those type of things when these situations arise, and I put myself in other people's shoes, which I think is so simple, but some people just don't do that. So I think it always reverts back to common sense leadership for as your guidance as a leader. You want to be practical and you want to be able to help people through their problems and offer solutions, but you have to put yourself in their shoes, right? You can't assume that you have it all figured out or that you know what's going on automatically. So I'm big on doing what in Amazon we call STUs, where that's seek to understand. I always think the best of everybody, right? I don't assume negative intent at all. So I'm always seeking to understand. Once I have that understanding, then I can provide solutions for you. But if I come in with the attitude that I'm arrogant and I already know what you're going to say before you say it, and I know why you were late to work every day this week, if I assume that you're a lazy person because you're not, doing certain things at work, then that's just bad leadership. So I always challenge my leaders to seek to understand. If you notice a trend in, like, say, an employee, they've been coming to work every day on time for the past 2 months, and then all of a sudden they're late every day for like a week. That's a red flag for me if I know my employees, right? So I'm going to stop you and ask you, hey, is everything okay? I notice you've been coming in, every day, maybe 30 minutes late, is everything going okay with you? Just to find out what's going on with you. Because you could have something personally going on with you that's a challenge, and maybe you hadn't shared that with me. And maybe I can offer some type of solution to you. Maybe we can change your schedule, offer you, a different type of solution. But if you don't seek to understand, I could never offer you some type of help, right? So I hate when people assume negative intent versus doing a seek to understand. So I always encourage that at work.
Great points. Thank you for talking about leadership that's bad. So we hear the term toxic leadership. To be honest, I don't think, Martine, I don't think anybody sets out to be a toxic leader. We just have people who maybe have behavioral dysfunctions or psychological disorders that play out in the way that they interact with other people, which makes the workplace toxic. Like people who are hoarding power, people who use their positions and privilege to reduce other people and psychologically just, exploit other people or even disable them. So let's talk about why toxic leadership is bad and what the culture is like at Amazon. I know Amazonians are very big on self-leadership. People are not micromanaging. I hear that a lot. So talk to me about the culture in Amazon and how we need to try as much as we can to avoid toxic leadership.
Well, since I'm HR, I'm big on engagement. So I think from the time you interview with a company till the time you walk through the door is very important, right? Because you want to make sure that you're engaging that person in a positive way. You want to make sure that they have a great experience from the time they apply to the time you onboard that employee. So I'm really big on employee relations and employee engagement. So toxic leaders can bring down your engagement at work. You want to have a culture that's positive, that's fun, that's engaging, but that one manager can be the reason why you lose good employees. So that's the number one reason why most people look for different job opportunities and quit, because they hate their boss, right? So no one wants to come to work every day and have to be bothered with someone that's micromanaging them, that's always has an attitude, that can't offer them any solutions, that they can't go to when they have different, issues going on. So I think that's all the way around bad for any organization to have toxic leaders, because they just bring down the morale in the entire building. Those people suck up all the good energy. So I love good energy, and I'm all about like positive energy and like interacting with people. So, and when someone has toxic energy, when they enter a room, like the whole room deflates basically. But if someone has positive energy, you feel it all across the room, right? Your employees are very engaged. They're happy to come to work for you. If you need them to work additional hours, they're happy to stay for you. So I always tell people that makes the difference, right? When you talk about leadership, some people may say, oh, I don't care if my employees like me. Well, you should, because it's important. because that's going to make the difference in how they work for you. Some people come to work every day and do the bare minimums. And then you have people who are going to work hard because they want to work hard for you. You know, you help them out with whatever situation they may have, and maybe they feel like they need to work even harder for you because they really appreciate you. Right. So in Amazon, that's what we try to do. We try to make sure that we're engaging our employees with a great experience from the time they start until the time they decide to leave us if they continue their career with Amazon. We want to make sure we have a good onboarding experience. We want to make sure you're fully trained, but we also want to challenge you, right, in a good way. So Amazon is all about a good challenge, and one saying that we have is every day is day one. And that's because things change. It's a fast changing environment consistently. So we're constantly changing. But that's something that we pride ourselves on is having great leadership, and making sure that people feel like they can be themselves, but they can also provide ideas and solutions to us to help better the organization.
Wow. So it's obvious. Amazon is thriving. Amazon is innovating. Amazon is staying relevant consistently. There has to be some reasons behind that. So you've given us one of the secrets of Amazon, which is great leadership. And I love the emphasis that she placed on employee experience, because leaders can be too carried away with, giving great customer experience, forgetting the people who bring their human ability to create the solutions that you're going to offer to the customer. So you're saying leaders take care of the employees who come to work with you as much as you care about the customer out there who's going to bring the money. Take care of the people who bring their value to the workplace.
Well, the employee is my customer. So in customer service, like, I hate when people say like, oh, well, this isn't a customer service job. Every job is a customer service job. There's someone that you're servicing as your customer. If I'm human resources, my employees are my customers. So there's a certain level of respect comes with that, resolutions, mannerisms. The same way I'm going to treat a customer that's actually an Amazon customer, I'm going to give that same treatment to my employees. So I think people forget that or don't think of that in that way. But every job that you have is a customer service job. If I'm a leader, my customers are my employees. And sometimes they can directly be your customers, but a lot of times your employees are your customers. And the front line is the very most important person in the building. So I always tell people that leaders, like, the most important people in the building are the frontline employees.
I love how you said every job is a customer service job. That's a quotable quote right there. I'm going to capture that one. So tell me what you believe a harmonized business environment looks like, where people are flourishing and thriving. What does it look like in few words to you as we come towards the wrapping up of this?
Well, one organization I used to work for is Whole Foods Market. Okay. And Whole Foods is a phenomenal place to work. They're great at engaging their employees and having that work-life balance we talk about all the time. So at the Whole Foods stores that I've worked at, we had yoga classes on site, and they taught you how to do meditation. They were all about eating healthy, and sometimes we would have chefs come in that would talk to us about different eating styles. If you're paleo, if you want to go vegan, this is what you can do. So it was like a nutritionist / chef that used to come by to visit. Offering gyms in your work facilities is awesome. That's another awesome perk that I've had to experience when I worked at different companies. I think it's great if you get off work or before you come to work, if you can exercise at work and then, get all relaxed and get your workout in for the day and then get started. So that's something that I've seen that was great for is engaging your employees and also making them feel like you're appreciated and like, I'm happy to come to work for this company. Offering babysitting options and tuition reimbursement, those things are important to people for us, like benefits, and it can relieve some stress financially for people if there's some type of daycare assistance, or because you may have a lot of people with single parents or just struggling financially. So that's very helpful, and that's one less thing someone has to worry about, right? So I think having those things in place that help us in our everyday lives is great, and that makes a harmonious environment. If you can have a company that cares that much to say, Hey guys, you can work out on your lunch break and we're going to provide a yoga instructor. Hey guys, we have a gym facility here on site so you can work out, before or after you get off work. Here's some daycare assistance reimbursement for you to help you out financially. So people want to be supported in that way when they're going through different things, and then it becomes a reason for them to want to stay with the company, because I feel like most people feel like you care about me enough to implement these programs. So this is somebody that I actually want to continue to work for.
Great. So I saw a study by Gallup that said sometimes these perks, these great additions and features to help us do work better can seem like they're golden handcuffs, like just keeping us in this place so we don't move. What do you say to that? So, because I'm big on the psychology. So as much as we do all the perks and all the bringing the extra things apart from work to get them to thrive, I'm also big on doing the psyche work. So letting people understand who they are in the world and how they fit into this place of work. So how do we marry the psychology and the perks in order to not make the perks look like there's something that brings this ephemeral effect, or they have psychological facts, but they're things that can truly help people to thrive for the long term?
Well, I think that goes back to leadership. Because you can't throw money at people and expect for them to stay. That won't keep anyone happy. Material things, gym memberships, yoga instructors, healthy eating at work, discounts, all those things are very nice and everyone will take them, right? But that doesn't mean that I want to continue to stay here. So happiness involves people and engaging those people. So it still comes back to leadership. So if a leader is building relationships with their employees at work, that's going to make the total difference with those things. So those things will just be the cherry on top. But if you have a great leader who cares about their employees, who knows their employees very well, who knows their family, knows their struggles, knows what motivates them, that essentially is going to keep the employee there and happy. So it's definitely not the materialistic things, but those are nice, right? It's nice to have those perks that come with the job, but you can have all the greatest perks in the world, but if I hate my manager, I'm quitting. So
I hear you loud on that one. Yes. Yeah. So you're pushing, you're stressing that engagement, that connecting with the human, making them feel at home, making them feel a part of this big thing that we're building, making everybody have a sense of essence as they step into that work environment.
And if you don't love people, you shouldn't be in leadership. Leadership
Another quotable quote.
All about people. It's all about the love of people. If you don't love people, then you're in the wrong field.
Another quotable quote. Thank you. I love to capture those quotes, honestly. As we wrap up here, there's something I like to do with leaders who join me on this platform. It's called the Harmonious Leader Quiz. So I ask you a couple of questions just to feel your pulse on what harmonious leadership is about, and you give me very short answers. So the first one would be, what does sustainable leadership mean to you personally?
Personally, that means to me that you're consistent in your leadership, right? So people can know what to expect from you. And then you're performing at a high level. So I think that's one of the hardest things to do in any position or any role, is to consistently perform. And once you perform at a high level, the expectation is that you'll continue to perform at a high level, right? So that's going to be your expectation from your boss. That's going to be the expectation from your employees. And you want to make sure that you can consistently perform and that it is sustainable. So you have to come up with different ways of maintaining that consistent performance.
Wow. Peak performance, that's the word I hear. Consistent peak performance. So showing up as your best all the time. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for, I know obviously you have embraced harmonious leadership, no doubt. How important is it for other leaders, for all of us as leaders, to embrace leading in harmonious ways on a scale of 1 to 10?
It's definitely a 10. And I say that because as a leader, you have to cast the shadow of a leader all the time, right? So that's one of my favorite terms, is they casting the shadow, just leading from the front, leading by example. If you're a manager or you're a leader and you have bad energy, you're going to give off that bad energy to your team. if you're not willing to accept change as things happen throughout the business, if you don't have an accepting attitude about it or a positive outlook on it, then your team won't have a positive outlook on it. So having that positive attitude and being able to make those adjustments when change come and still pushing through with great attitudes and being a change agent for your organization is vital to your employees, and if they're going to be willing to follow the new policy or the new change or the new guidance, right? So you need to be positive and always have that same face to, even if it's a poker face, maybe you're not happy about a change. Every change your organization makes, you won't be happy about it, right? But my face, my poker face is going to show that I'm happy about it at all times, you know, because I need my team to get on board with me. If I'm negative about it, then why would they want to sign on for it or accept a new change, right?
So you're saying the psychology and the behavior of the leader rubs off on everybody they're leading. So if you want the best results, start by being the best representation of that outcome that you want to see. I think leaders can glean a lot of wisdom from this short conversation with you, Martine. Thanks for lending your voice to this cause. It's the Harmonious Leadership cause that we're trying to promote to get leaders to shift their mindset in the way that they lead themselves and they show up in leadership to others. We're coming into times that call for a different kind of leader. Leaders like Martine, leaders like the people I bring on this platform. So if you're connected, stay tuned, stay connected for more leaders. You need to connect with the Harmonious or the Harmony Talk so that you can glean wisdom from leaders who are already excelling in their leadership capacities. Martine, I want you to give your sticky notes, 2 sticky notes to the audience, what you want them to keep at the back of their mind and top of mind as they go into leadership in order to be their best.
Love your people and they'll love you back.
I love that one. These things are simple. The strategies are simple. We just complicate leadership, right?
I mean, just be nice and put yourself in other people's shoes, and all is well in the world. People want to be understood. They want to know that people are there to help them. And if you can't put in, you know, if you don't have a human perspective as it comes to people and that things happen, like, you won't be a great leader, because you have to understand that life happens to all of us, and you have to be prepared to help people through those different times that they're, you know, experiencing.
Absolutely. Sometimes the people you help turn out to help you in return.
Yeah, and then you never know who someone may turn out to be. They may be your boss one day. You
know. You never know. So as we wrap up,
treat people.
It's happened. It's not like it's historically happened. We have evidences of that. Yeah. So be nice, be kind, treat everybody like you treat yourself. Yeah. So Martine, is there something you want leaders to learn more about your work? Do you want them to connect more with you, support what you're doing? Do you want to share anything that you have in the works? Even if it's just following your social media account, tell leaders what to do so that they can glean more of your wisdom.
Follow me on LinkedIn, Martine DeVoe, or you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Martine DeVoe. Everything is my first and last name, so it's very simple.
I love those names, by the way. I love them. Martine, thank you so much for coming on board today. This is great, short, but so much wisdom packed in this short conversation. Thank you for lending your voice. Please stay connected on this platform. Connect with me as well. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter as Jesmine Onyeukwu, also known as the Life Harmonist. And I'm bringing more leaders your way to help you become the best and the more harmonious leader possible. Thank you for joining us today. See you on the next one. Bye for now.